America's middle is hollowing out, and the data is more shocking than you'd think. These 8 states reveal why millions are leaving. Imagine standing in the heart of America and looking around. What you'd see is miles and miles of beautiful landscapes, pristine mountains, rolling plains, and wide-open spaces. Yet in these gorgeous areas, there's barely a soul in sight. This isn't accident or coincidence. People are leaving certain states in historic numbers, and the reasons why will shake you. For decades, we've talked about overpopulation in big cities and crowded coastal states. But the real story is the opposite. Vast stretches of America are becoming emptier by the year. Some of these states are losing thousands of residents annually. Some are experiencing natural decrease, more people dying than being born. And many young people who grew up there can't wait to leave. State 1, Wyoming. Wyoming holds a remarkable distinction. It's the least populous state in the entire country. With about 590,000 people spread across roughly 97,000 square miles, you get just 6 people per square mile. You could drive for hours across Wyoming and see almost nothing but empty highway and wide sky. The root cause is economic. Wyoming's economy is heavily dependent on extracting natural resources, coal, oil, and natural gas. These industries bring money into the state, but that money is volatile. When global commodity prices drop, the entire state feels it. Jobs disappear, budget cuts follow. The median household income in Wyoming is about $64,000, which is below the national average. Beyond the energy sector, Wyoming simply doesn't have diverse career options. The largest city is Cheyenne, with about 65,000 people. Even that city doesn't offer the range of jobs, businesses, and cultural amenities that people increasingly expect. If you work in tech, healthcare, finance, or dozens of other growing fields, Wyoming isn't where you'll find opportunity. This exodus of young adults creates a secondary problem. The people left behind skew older, which means fewer births relative to deaths. The state's population just keeps declining, which reduces the tax base further, making the state even less able to invest in infrastructure or attract new businesses. State 2, Alaska. Alaska is perhaps the most dramatic case on this list. Alaska is 665,000 square miles, bigger than Texas, California, and Montana combined. And yet it has about 744,000 people. That's fewer residents than the single city of Columbus, Ohio. Alaska is marketed as an untamed paradise, but living there is brutally hard. In much of Alaska, winter temperatures frequently drop below -30 degrees Fahrenheit. In the northern regions, it's not unusual for temperatures to plunge to -60 degrees Fahrenheit. During winter months, some areas experience 24 hours of complete darkness. In summer, the sun barely sets. You get up to 22 hours of daylight. This chaotic light cycle is exhausting for many people. Alaska's remoteness creates logistical nightmares. The state has very few roads connecting its cities and towns. For many regions, the only practical way to move people and goods is by airplane. This means basic supplies, everyday products, and services are shockingly expensive. A trip to the grocery store costs significantly more than in the lower 48 states. Housing is expensive too. The median home price hovers around $325,000. Energy costs are astronomical because you're heating homes through long, brutal winters. Economically, Alaska is hooked on oil. The state's budget is heavily dependent on oil industry revenues. When oil prices drop, the state faces budget crises. Job opportunities shrink, state services get cut. The average household income is around $75,000, which doesn't go far when heating costs are triple the national average and groceries cost 40% more. For most people, this trade-off isn't worth it. State 3, West Virginia. West Virginia experienced the largest percentage decline in population of any state between 2010 and 2020. That's a 3.2% drop, representing roughly 59,000 people leaving. The decline was so severe that the state lost a congressional seat after the 2020 census. West Virginia has historically relied on coal mining. That industry provided jobs, wages, and a sense of purpose in communities across the state. But coal is dying. Globally, demand is declining. Domestically, regulations are shifting away from fossil fuels. The transition has been brutal for communities built around those mines. Job opportunities beyond coal are limited. The median household income in West Virginia is significantly below the national average. For young people, there aren't enough career opportunities to build prosperous lives. There isn't a tech sector. The healthcare sector exists, but isn't large enough to absorb available workforce. Young people, especially college graduates, leave for nearby cities like Pittsburgh, Charlotte, or Nashville, where their degrees might lead to six-figure careers instead of stagnant, low-wage work. West Virginia ranks third in the nation for the percentage of its population over age 65. The state is aging rapidly while young people leave. More people are dying than being born. Communities that were once vibrant are becoming quieter, smaller, and older each year. Broadband internet access is limited. Only about 79% of households have broadband subscriptions. In an increasingly digital economy, that's a massive disadvantage. State 4, North Dakota. North Dakota sits in the northern Great Plains and has a population of about 804,000 people. For a state covering 70,698 square miles, that's an extremely low population density. Most of those people are concentrated in the major cities, Bismarck and Fargo. Agriculturally, North Dakota is significant. It produces enormous quantities of wheat, barley, and other crops. It's also become prominent in oil production from the Bakken Shale Formation. But modern farming and industrial oil production are capital-intensive and labor-light. One farm might generate millions of dollars in value but employ only a handful of people. When agricultural prices fall or oil prices drop, the economy contracts. When the economy contracts, young people leave. They head to urban centers where diverse job opportunities exist. Unlike Wyoming and Alaska, North Dakota doesn't have dramatic geographic barriers to living there. But the economic opportunities are limited. College graduates leave. The state loses them to Minnesota, Montana, and other neighboring states with stronger economies. North Dakota has avoided major decline partly because of immigration from foreign countries, which has somewhat offset domestic outmigration. State 5, South Dakota. South Dakota has roughly 931,000 people across about 77,000 square miles. Like North Dakota, it's concentrated in a few population centers, particularly Sioux Falls. The state's economy is similarly based on agriculture and some oil production, along with some manufacturing. Young people raised in rural South Dakota areas face economic realities that don't match their ambitions. They go to college, graduate, and then face a choice: either move to a bigger city or settle for lower wages and fewer opportunities in their home state. Many choose to leave. As agricultural consolidation continues, fewer farms employ more people. Young people simply can't stay and farm the way their parents and grandparents did. There aren't enough farms, and the ones that exist are often owned by corporations or farming families. State 6, Iowa. Iowa has about 3.2 million people, but it still tells a critical story. Iowa has experienced consistent net negative domestic migration for much of the past 2 decades. More Iowans leave the state each year than move in, with rare exceptions. At the turn of the century, around 13,000 residents were leaving annually. The pandemic created a brief anomaly. In 2021, as remote work became possible and people fled crowded cities, Iowa saw net positive migration for the first time in years. But when restrictions lifted in 2022, people started moving back out. Iowa saw the largest exodus to other states since 2003. Young adults are particularly likely to leave, especially those under 25. Iowa is experiencing natural decrease in rural areas, more deaths than births. The population is aging. Rural counties are especially hard hit. This is partly due to agricultural consolidation. Farms require less labor, so there are fewer jobs. Young people seeking opportunity move to Des Moines, Iowa City, or out of state entirely. Without international migrants, Iowa would be experiencing population decline. State 7, Nebraska. Nebraska has about 1.9 million people and is experiencing serious demographic challenges. Despite having a stable economy and relatively low cost of living, the state has a brain drain. College-educated people are leaving at higher rates than people without degrees. Young adults, particularly those aged 25 to 34, are leaving in significant numbers. People making $75,000 or more annually are statistically more likely to leave Nebraska than those making less. These are your doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, and managers. When they leave, they take their knowledge and earning power with them. While Nebraska has a stable economy and low unemployment, wages aren't keeping pace with other regions. Career advancement opportunities are limited. Omaha, the state's largest city with about 450,000 people in the metro area, is where much of the brain drain is concentrated. Half of Nebraska's net outmigration comes from the Omaha region alone. When you're a talented software engineer or business analyst in Omaha and you see that you could make 30 to 40% more in Austin, Denver, or Seattle, the decision becomes clear.
State 8. Ohio. Ohio is more populous than the previous states we've discussed, about 11.8 million people. But that larger population masks a profound challenge. Ohio is projected to lose more than 675,000 people by 2050 if current migration and mortality trends continue unchanged. That's a 5.7% decline for the entire state. Of Ohio's 88 counties, only 14 are experiencing growth. The remaining 74 counties are shrinking. Columbus is an exception. It's growing, driven by economic opportunities, tech jobs, and urban development. But the rest of the state is struggling. Ohio's decline is rooted in economic transition. The state's history was built on manufacturing. Steel mills, automobile factories, rubber production, these industries provided stable, middle-class jobs for generations. But manufacturing has been in secular decline for decades. It's either moved overseas, automated, or consolidated. Young people from Ohio have increasingly moved to other states seeking opportunity. The state's industrial cities, Cleveland, Youngstown, and others, have struggled with this transition. Mortality is also playing a role. Ohio has an aging population. In some regions, especially rural areas, there are more deaths than births. The opioid crisis has also impacted mortality rates disproportionately in some Ohio communities. Combined with outmigration, this creates a double squeeze on population. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, share it with someone who needs to understand what's actually happening in America. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're diving into more uncomfortable truths about where we're heading.